Welcome ladies. Thank you for being here. And I'm excited. I am also going to share my screen with you real quick so you can see. There we go. All right. So do you see something that says welcome on it? Okay. Just making sure
Yes.
everything's working correctly. Okay. So welcome to the virtual flex class preview session, which is a mouthful for Financial Peace University. All that means, we're going to kind of talk about what that means, but you're kind of experiencing it already, obviously the virtual part. And then flex means it's just a little different from a normal Financial Peace class where we watch the videos together. That's where we just watch the videos in advance. And then that saves our time together. So when we come together, it's going to be a little less, it's going to be more compact. So welcome. I'm glad you're here. Thank you. And the plan is, see if this works. The plan is, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself and my story, give you a little quick reality check with some of this pandemic business that's going on. We'll watch a video, we'll do Q&A, and then I've just got some next steps if you want to. So take a next step. So that's what we're going to talk about a little bit. So here's, I don't know if you can see it. I hope I'm not blocking anything here, but I'll quick tell you my story as fast as I can. My nutshell story is, my name is Faith Ratty, and I serve as a community outreach director at St. Peter's in Edina. And that just means that I am there to help people, both corporately and individually, share their faith more effectively. And in the context of this, it just means that I'm helping them share God's principles around money. It's really near and dear to my heart because once I started actually making some money at like 18 to 30 years old, I did not handle money God's way or even anybody's way well. I was a wreck. I think I just try to do the math. And in my 18 to 30 years old, I got in probably over $230,000 worth of debt, I think, like plus a house. So I was kind of struggling a little bit. I didn't know how to budget or that I could do life without debt. Nobody really told me that. And basically, I just hit rock bottom. I don't know if you've heard about this from people who may be in recovery, but sometimes there's multiple rock bottoms. And one of mine was when I was like grocery shopping, and I was kind of feeling guilty either way. I was using my debit card and I didn't know how much I could spend and kind of it be right in the context of our whole checking account. I don't know. So I felt guilty about that. And then I also felt guilty if I'd use a credit card because I felt like, well, I'm not supposed to use my credit card to buy groceries. Kind of had that sense that I should be able to not do that. So I felt guilty about that. And that was just gross. I just had a lot of gross feelings around money. And then one day I was looking at the credit card, my biggest credit card, because I had multiple credit cards, and my biggest credit card said that if I made minimum payments, I would be retiring with the debt that I had on the credit card, which was also very gross. I didn't feel real good about that. And my worst one, this is probably my darkest moment, is when I did the math. I looked at how much and my husband would get if I died from my life insurance, and how much debt we had. And I realized I was worth more, technically on paper. I know this is not true, and this stuff will play with your mind, I know, but I felt like I was worth more dead than alive at that moment. And that was pretty rough. So anyway, I'm just sharing that. I don't know if you can relate to any of those feelings, but I kind of hit rock bottom. I was like, okay, something needs to change. So wherever you are mentally or emotionally around this stuff, like I can relate to that probably in some way. So with all that in mind, I just wanted to touch on this little graphic here that I've actually saw today about that the Ramsey Solutions office put out. I thought it was really helpful. Some people might have those feelings, like maybe haven't had those feelings that I was describing up until now with the pandemic stuff going on. it's just incredibly stressful. Even if everything in your life is perfect, it's an incredibly stressful thing to be going through. And then you couple that, if you're struggling with finances, it can be like, it can get hard really fast. And so I just acknowledge that, and I get it. And I thought that this was helpful, because I've seen a lot of things about like what I'm going to do with my stimulus check and, or not do, and that sort of thing. And what I love about Ramsey Solutions people is they're just so practical. It says if your income is not stable, like my husband was furloughed, any stimulus money goes to cover your 4 walls. And that's something he says a lot, is the 4 walls: the food, utilities, shelter, and transportation. That the basics are the most important. And we really don't need to worry about a credit, like a credit score, if we don't have food for the kids, that sort of thing. I love that knowing that kind of brings me back to getting centered and not trying to figure out all these things I need to manage. I just need to manage these 4 walls to start. And then of course it says anything else left over, I don't know about you, but leftover would go to the emergency fund. And it says if your income is stable, using your stimulus money to help you crush your goals. So the baby steps, it says use it to speed up the baby step that you're on. And we'll talk about that a little bit. But that's the whole basis of Financial Peace University. I kind of call it like AA for debt, where you start with baby step number 1 and you don't do anything else until you've got baby step number 1 done. And I just love the simplicity of that, and it helps me focus. And so that's what he's talking about when he talks about baby steps. And that's what the sessions are about. And I'm realizing as I'm saying that I probably could have like had a list of the baby steps here for you, but I can walk you through them as well if people have questions about that. So anyway, I just want to acknowledge the current reality that we're living in, and that it's a wild ride, and everybody's situation is going to be different. But there's some basic things that can help you kind of zero in on that. So that's the story on that. So we're just going to jump right into the video, if that's okay. If it's really bad, we can turn it off and we can just talk about it. But I'm going to jump right into that video, if it's okay with you ladies. Here we go.
Welcome to Financial Peace University. Financial peace. These are words that just don't go together in our culture anymore. Too many people are struggling with this subject of money. Too many people are struggling with this subject of money in their relationships, in their marriages. Too many people are struggling with this subject of money in their area of their careers. We just don't know what to do with this whole thing called money. Well, I found out something about money. Money's actually fun if you got some. But boy, I tell you what, it does weave its way into the tapestry of our lives, and it does mess with us on just about every possible level. So we're glad you're here. I can promise you this, we are going to have some fun as we talk about money. We're going to laugh, we're going to cry. I'm going to talk to you about relationships. I'm going to talk to you about your spiritual walk, your emotions, and we're going to change the way we handle our lives around this subject of money as we go through this class together. It's absolutely imperative that you really stay plugged in. Now, some of you have, you just didn't want to be here. You were drug here against your will. I know that because I was out in the parking lot and I saw several sets of heel prints on the way in. Some of you, Dave Ramsey, the name has become a cuss word in your house. Some of you, one lady, I was doing a book signing a while back and she said, you know, I don't even know you and I don't like you. And some of you, that's you. I understand. I get that. We are going to have some fun, and if that's you, I'm probably actually more on your team than on the team of that nerd that brought you. I'm a guy that's been there, done that, got the t-shirt. I grew up not rich. How many of you grew up not rich? When I got out of college and graduated from college, my wife and I got married. We were so broke we couldn't pay attention. We didn't know what we were going to do. When we graduated from college, our net worth was a half a box of no-dos. You know what I'm saying? And we got married and started off our lives broke. How many of you, when you started off basically broke? You know what I'm talking about. We ain't got money, honey, but we got love. And it's a good thing, too, because we ain't got no money. Well, that's how we started out. And I started buying and selling real estate, and I got rich. At least by a kid from Antioch, Tennessee standards. I ended up with about $4 million worth of real estate, starting from nothing by the time I was 26 years old. However, I had done some dumb things. Nothing immoral, nothing illegal or anything like that. I didn't steal from anybody. I didn't lie to anybody. I was just stupid. I borrowed too much money. And our largest bank got sold to another bank. And then word got out on the street that Dave was in trouble, and another bank got sold to another bank. And they started calling our notes. And we spent the next 2.5 years of our life losing everything we owned. We were sued. We were foreclosed on. And finally, with a brand new baby, a toddler, and a marriage hanging on by a thread, we were bankrupt. I was a 28-year-old young dad, young husband, scared out of my mind. I didn't know what to do. I remember standing with that shower so hot in my face that I could just barely stand there, and I would just stand there and cry because I didn't know what to do. I didn't have any steps. No one talked about this stuff much. And then I started slowly discovering that the Bible had some things to say about money. I started reading a man named Larry Burkett, and then I started reading another guy named Ron Blue, met another man named Howard Dayton, and these men had been teaching biblical finance throughout North America, and I started learning from them and started applying those principles in our lives because we were so beat up we didn't know what to do. And see, I had all these letters and licenses after my name that says I'm supposed to know something about money. I've got a finance degree. And there I sat broke. Apparently, something was wrong with my plan, and I needed a new one. You see, I do everything backwards. Most people meet God at the bottom. I met Him on the way up. I just got to know Him on the way down. What we're talking about here is that we found the truth. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Everybody stand up for a second. Here's what I want you to do. I want first, understand that I can see all of you and I will mess with you if you don't play my games. What I want you to do is I want everyone in here to close your eyes. Thank you. Okay, now, here's what I want you to do. With your eyes closed, even if you don't know the answer, it's okay to be wrong. It's just not okay to not play. You got to play. So even if you don't know the answer, you got to guess. I want you to point north. Keep your eyes closed and point north. Now stick with your plan. Stick with your feeling. Open your eyes and look around. Someone is lost. According to my compass, north is right through here. Now, I won't point him out, but one guy was pointing this way and he did a little cheerleading move. Everybody have a seat. The point is that this is the truth. That is north, that is the truth. And we live in a culture today where people think they can make up their own truth. You can't make up your own truth. There's a truth that's independent of you. And your feelings are often not true. Some of you went with your best feeling. You had no idea and you launched off going south. If you want to go to Canada, this is the direction. You can get there this way, but it's the long way around. This is the truth. This is the truth. And to the extent that you are not lined up with your compass, you're what's known as lost. And you're going to bring pain to your life, and you're going to bring shortage to your life, and you're going to bring problems to your life. I know. I've lived that. So, how you feel really doesn't matter. And we have to remember that it's about choices. Personal finance is about 80% behavior. It's only about 20% head knowledge. That's why God chooses to work through money to change and transform us. For some of you, He's going to use this issue of money to heal your marriage. For some of you, He's going to use this issue of money to put discipline in your life in a place and in a way that you never dreamed you would see it. You're going to make different choices after having gone through this. It absolutely works. Financial Peace University began about 20 years ago. I started it with a bad suit and an overhead projector. The typical family going through Financial Peace University pays off $5,300 in debt and saves $2,700. That's an $8,000 change in position is the typical person or the typical family going through this. And so if you pay a little bit for this course and you go through it and you get $8,000 change, I call that a bargain. I call that a good buy. This whole course is taught by me on video, and afterwards is when the most important thing happens, and that's the small group discussion. Go to the small group discussion. Bring your budget each time and be accountable to the lesson. Make sure you're learning the lesson. Unpack this with other people. It feels a little weird at first, but go in there. The accountability to change your behavior is the key. That's the big deal, and you're definitely going to want to do that. Again, there is no doubt that this process called Financial Peace University works. The only question is whether you're going to be involved. And so if you haven't signed up yet, now is the time.
All right. So I just realized as I was watching that I probably should say the next step in my story. We started Financial Peace in fall of 2013. I had never earned less in my adult life in the fall of 2013. I love my job. I had come from the highest paying job I'd ever had at that point, from a job in Florida, to the smallest paying job I'd ever had. I became a special ed para in public school, which was a fantastic job, but pays peanuts. And we paid off, I think, 3 credit cards in that first year, just because of what we were doing, what we learned from Financial Peace. So I only say that to let people know it's really not so much about what you're earning, it's about what you're doing with the money that you're earning. And it took us about 5 years, but we're now debt free. So we got rid of that $230,000 worth of debt that we had. It feels really good. And we're on baby step 3, which is, we completed baby step 3 right before this pandemic thing started, which is having a fully funded emergency fund, which we've never had before in our 17 years of marriage. So I'm just share that, not to be like, look at us, but to say there's hope and things can change and you have the power to do it. And even in a pandemic, I think we can figure out some solutions. So I just wanted to share, I guess, that next step in my story. We have a long way to go, but I just wanted to kind of share that there's hope around that stuff. So it's a little tricky. I'm going to take away the screen share because I want to make sure, or maybe I'll just unmute you guys if that's okay. Maybe that'll be easier since it's just us and we're all, you won't unmute. Just kidding. Okay, I got Jamie. I'm going to try one more time with Lorena.
So Lorena, you have to unmute it.
Oh, okay. There we go. All right.
Sorry, I have 2 kids right here and they're just talking away. So
it's totally fine. It's not a big deal. And if you want to be on mute, you can, but I just wanted the way it's set up on my screen, I can't really see the chat right now. So I just wanted to see if you guys had any specific questions. I popped a few in there just in case you guys didn't have any, but does anybody have any questions or comments about what you heard, or do you feel like just what is Financial Peace, or any questions?
No, definitely hold on a second.
I love it.
Okay, so how about your first question?
So so the first question I put in there is, how is Flex different from a regular FPU class? So typically when I run a regular FPU class, I ask people to plan for 2 hours and it's weekly, and you're coming to you would come to the church anyway, or wherever we're holding it. It could be held anywhere. It doesn't have to be a church, but 2 hours, because we need time to kind of sit down and welcome everybody in and kind of do housekeeping stuff. And then we watch like a 45-minute video or whatever of him talking together, which is good. They actually say the best way to do FPU really is to watch the video together and to be in a room together, simply because as we're finding out, we've become very aware in this environment that we're living in, there's just something about being around other people, right? That just, there's more accountability, there's more just energy, that sort of thing. And we just learn from each other better, I think, kind of in that environment. But a flex class is where you would watch the video on your own. So let's pretend that you're all interested and you want to do it. Then we'll do a virtual class. So we'll do it something like this. And then since it's flex, you'll watch the video before we come to the Zoom meeting. And if it's possible, I would probably recommend that you plan to watch the FPU video right before. So let's pretend it's on Thursdays at 8:30. Then like at maybe 7:30 to sit and watch the video. So it's fresh in your mind and we can come right into the Zoom meeting together instead of like watching it on Sunday and then coming together Thursday, like, oh, what did he talk about? That sort of thing. So those are some differences. So the pros is that it's less time together, but the cons is that we're not really together, and you do kind of have to attend to that video yourself. You really have to have that self-discipline to watch the video, because if you don't watch the video, you're not gonna get much from the discussion. So so there's that. And I'll say that you would have access. So they've changed it a little bit since Jamie participated. The way they do it now is you get a year-long FPU membership. And so in getting that membership, you would have access to all the videos. So that's how you would get access to the videos, I guess. Does that make sense?
It does. Thank you.
Okay.
And then you'd also be able to listen to them multiple times or watch them multiple times.
Mm-hmm. That's right. And actually, I'm gonna say this in the next slide, but even if you don't want to do this, it's just totally fine. Because really, I don't like St. Peter's does not get any benefit from people doing this. It's literally, especially for me personally, it just has made such a difference in my life that I want other people to have it. It breaks my heart that other people might feel the way I felt around money, had those negative experiences, and I just don't want that for people. So even if you don't want to do a virtual flex FPU class with us, you can still go to daveramsey.com/hope and access a free 14-day trial of all the videos, all the financial peace videos. There is other resources that are free that you can access there if you have extra time. I understand if you have kids, you probably don't have extra time, but there's also other resources you can order that are like the prices on them are slashed. So if you have maybe a teenager that you would like to become more financially literate, instead of like a $40 piece of curriculum, it's like $12 or something like that. So there's other things you might want to check out there that would be a good resource to you, especially during this time. I said something a week or two ago, like if I had kids, maybe I would get it as like an extra credit project for them. Like I might, if they did the course, that I might give them $50 for doing the course or something like that. Just some extra some homeschool extra credit that they could do. But I don't have kids, so I don't get to do that. But that leads me to the next question. It says, why do a group class instead of on my own? Like if I can access those videos, why would I participate in the class? And honestly, I feel like you have to know yourself. Some people would just do better doing it on their own. Just the way they're built, their personality, that sort of thing. That is not how I am built. I need to know that somebody is waiting for me, or that I committed to something to follow through on it, or else I don't. Jamie and I have gone walking together. I only walk around the lake when I know Jamie is waiting for me to walk around the lake with her. Otherwise, I don't walk around the lake. And like I go to a gym class, and I'd get much better results when I go to gym class. I've done like the treadmill thing on my own, like at the YMCA, and it's okay, but I don't get results. And I want you to get financial results. And people generally tend to do better when you're doing that with a little accountability built in. So that's what this is. That's where I think the benefit might come in, if you know that you're that type of person that also needs that extrinsic motivation, which is totally who I am. So, and then it does say, I wrote here, how can I spend $100 on something when I'm broke? Which I've been there. When I took the first one, I was like, I can't afford to do this. So this membership thing, I think it's $129, and it's for the year. If you go through our link, you'll save $29. So it's $100 if you go through our link instead of like the general signing up for it through the Dave Ramsey website. Basically what I tell people is you kind of have, it's the same thing as the group class versus doing it on your own. You have to have, most people have to have some skin in the game or they're just not going to do it. And $100 is like significant enough to make us go, ugh, I'm putting money into it. I'm just gonna do it, right? Versus, well, it was free. Somebody gifted it to me, and I'll get to it, someday, and someday never comes. So that's probably like I understand where it's coming from, where someone would be like, that doesn't make sense, but it's a good motivator. And I'll also say, if it really would keep someone from participating, where they're like, I absolutely can't do that. We do have a Pay It Forward scholarship that someone started who was really had a lot of benefit from this. So what they did was they put $100 into account at St. Peter's, and then a sort of seed money, and then it bought the next person's membership to part in the next person's kit to participate, and they wrote a check for $100. And they agreed to keep it in our safe if they participated in 9 out of the 10 sessions. Then it's up to them. They either, typically in the past, before we had the scholarship, we would just rip it up and it was just a gift to them. But what we've done now is they choose how they'd like to pay it forward. So I can guarantee you almost with 100% certainty that if you participate, you will save well over $100 just by participating in the class. I don't know if Jamie wants to speak to that all. She had a unique experience, but there's, you're going to make money hand over fist just in what you're saving from what you're learning. And so most people find it possible to somehow pay it forward to the next person for the scholarship. So it's sort of a way to create space for you to have access to it now when you don't have $100. But then when you do have $100, you can give it to the next person that could that needs what Financial Peace is offering. So I don't know if I'm making a lot of sense. Does that make sense, what I'm trying to say?
It was the best $100 I've ever spent on anything in my whole life.
That makes
And
sense.
both of them know that because these are like my BFFs.
Okay. Well,
I've walked into Jamie listening to her Dave Ramsey CDs many of times over the years.
At work. I listen to them at
She
work
still
during the
finds
day.
value.
I like when he started the video and he's like, it's for some of you, Dave Ramsey has become a curse word. Like, I'm sick of hearing about Dave Ramsey. Oh my gosh, right? Yes, I totally get it. So, okay. Is there any other, I kind of just rambled. I hope that made sense. Does anybody else have any questions specifically about Financial Peace or logistics or anything like that? Okay.
How do you register?
So, let's go there. So, couple things. So here you can see, hopefully, the easiest way is to go to our link, which is the third bullet point down. It's kind of a funny one, but I wanted you to be able to remember what it says. So bit.ly is just like a way to make a generic, or to make a crazy long number thing into a sensible link. So STP is for St. Peter's. So, and then Virtual Flex FPU. So it's just STP Virtual Flex FPU. You can sign up there. And that's where you'll save the $30. You can also, even at the same time, I think, I'm new to this newer system that they have since where they set up this membership thing. Other people had been coordinating the class for me. So I'm going to learn with you a little bit, but I've got listed there again that daveramsey.com/hope, where you can find the videos and other free resources, all those things. Definitely can go there and check that out. So our link is bit.ly/STP virtual flex FPU. If you are interested, right now it says that we have a start date on for our class, but we really don't. What I really had hoped to do is whoever showed up for this, if they're interested, there's really truly no pressure. You can ask Jamie. My motto is no guilt, no pressure. I have zero interest in putting that on anyone. But if you are interested, you guys get to decide when and when. So I was going to say where, but where is already determined on Zoom for us. So so it could just be like, if this is a good day and time for you, it could just be Thursdays at 8:30. It'll only be an hour at the most, because we won't be watching the video together. But if there's a different day or time that in this weird world that we're living in works better for you, then we can definitely do that as well. So do you guys have any thoughts on that? Again, I'm only asking because if you want to.
Thursdays I like Thursdays.
That's good. Is this time good for you?
Yeah, 8:30. I probably couldn't be any sooner for me than
Okay, because the
8:30.
kids, yeah.
Yes.
Is later better? Like, do you want it to be, I mean, I don't want to be crazy, but like, do you want like 9 o'clock or something?
I mean, honestly, if other people could do 9, that is great.
Okay.
Just because with the distance learning, typically anything the kids can't get done during the day, I'm helping them in the evening. So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I'm fine with
Kelly,
it.
would we lose you if it was 9 o'clock?
Yeah, I'm more of like a 9 o'clock go to bed kind of person. On the days I work, I'm up at 6. So
Oh yeah. Ooh, yeah. Shelly, where do you work, if you don't mind me asking?
Central Minnesota Credit Union.
Oh, awesome. Cool. I just had a friend start another new job at a credit union as well. She loves it. I hope you love your job. Yeah, and it doesn't need to be. I just was throwing it out there, though that's a possibility. So Lorena, if you are interested, then if maybe that one night, 8:30 might work okay for the week, maybe we could stick with that or something. But we should probably get a few other people as well. Honestly, this is the most amount of people I've ever had for a preview session. Usually I get 0. So I'm excited to have done this, but I don't want you to think the numbers indicate, that, oh, it'll just be us. Hopefully we'll get a few other people as well in the class. Speaking of which, that's my last bullet point. Especially in this world, like usually I am a little bit like Jamie in that I'm an inviter. I always want to invite, right? We all know that that's Jamie's gift, right? Is to share the good things that she has with other people. And I want to do that too. But I'm more, I obviously am capable of using digital stuff, but it's harder for me to get to the people that I know would be potential participants, because I usually do that physically. So this link that I have here, if you're thinking there might be even just a couple people that would want to consider it, I encourage you to share with them any of these links. You can like our St. Peter's Edina Facebook page, and we'll post, I'll create, Lorraine, it sounds like you're interested, so we're going to do Thursdays at 8:30, I guess, if that's okay. I'll create a Facebook event, and you can just share that with the friends that you're considering. So you don't even have to worry about sharing a link per se. The event will just do it. But I really just want to encourage you to think about the other people who might have the same feelings you have about money, or that I've had about money, that we can help them get past that and be able to move beyond those yucky feelings to really great feelings, like he said, that sometimes it can be fun when you actually have some. So yeah. Okay, is there any other comments or questions about any of this business?
you know, and I don't want to stop anybody else from being able to join because of late. So, I mean, if you throw another time out there too, like you said, especially if I know that I have some skin in the game, it'll force me to, you know, just get my family in order for that day. I can be flexible with that.
It is amazing that how that little bit of motivation can make a difference. And I'm speaking for myself. So, well, Shelly, would you want it to be like maybe 8? Would 8 be better for you if you're typically going to bed at 9? Would 8 be okay?
I mean, I'm willing to compromise with 8:30. That's fine.
Okay. And again, I'm only asking, I mean,
I don't want it to be too early for anyone else, but you know, that prevents them either. So
right. And I shouldn't have just assumed that you're interested. Sorry, but if you are, yes.
I'm assuming Shelly's interested.
Okay.
I am actually.
Jamie's very
Hardcore
influential.
pressure.
It's about
Faith is the
time.
opposite of me. I'm hardcore pressure.
Yeah. Jamie and I
Well,
balance each other out.
honestly, the thing that's prevented me is that everybody does it in couples, and I am not a couple. So
Yes.
every time it comes to town, I hear, oh, this couple's going, that couple's going. And I'm like, I don't do stuff by myself. So that is why I have not done it yet.
Yeah, I hear that a
didn't wanna go
lot.
home.
That's fair. That's fair. And and we'll even talk about that as we get into some of the sessions, because it's a very real thing. And as a single person, we'll talk about how to find an accountability partner and, you know, get the things that you need for you to be successful in this, you know,
Sounds good.
without a spouse. So yeah. Very good. Well, I'm going to say then, it sounds like, Shelly, you're cool. I'm going to say 8:30 on Thursdays. And I can't remember exactly what day he had written down, our coordinator from the Dave Ramsey office. But it's on the website. So maybe what I'll do, ladies, if I think I actually just emailed Lorena, but maybe Jamie can share, Shelly, if you're okay with it, maybe your email, and I can just put a group email together and communicate back with all of you. So we get those basic information things pinned down, and then I can update the actual website where our class is listed, make sure that that's accurate. And then we can start inviting our friends. So does that sound good?
Sounds good.
Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited.
Thanks for the kick, Jamie.
Hey, no problem. Anytime.
Sometimes we need a little pressure. It's true. We need Jamies in our world as well. So
She said, will you do something for me at 8:15? She didn't even say what it was. She just made it seem like it had to be done.
now she's tricky like that. See, my brain wouldn't even work like I couldn't even process like to do that. So that's why we need different people for sure. Okay, well, I'm going to stop screen sharing. You can see my my house, my little room. Is that a kitty?
Yes.
Okay, Jamie, is it your cat?
He's being so ferocious.